It's live to YouTube. Here we go.
Okay, very good. Excellent. Welcome, everybody. We'll now begin our regular council meeting of the Township of Cabanmonaghan on this Tuesday, May 19th. We are once again using Zoom for this meeting, and it is being streamed to YouTube. I'd ask for approval of today's agenda. Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Just a mover and a seconder, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, sorry. We got Deputy Mayor Graham and Councillor Huntley. Madam Clerk.
Councillor Belch.
Yes.
Councillor Huntley.
Yes.
Councillor Moore.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Graham.
Yes.
Mayor McFadden.
Yes, motion is approved. I'd ask that any members of council declare any pecuniary interest in the general nature thereof at this time or when the situation arises. Seeing none, there is no closed session. We're going to move right along into our presentations. Item 6.1, Jamie Cook and Elizabeth Bang, Watson and Associates Economists, Limited Growth Management Study. Welcome back, Jamie and Elizabeth.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Welcome, Jamie.
Did you want me to just get right into our presentation?
Yes, please.
Okay.
So just so you're aware, I see you, Jamie. I know I saw Elizabeth early. I do not see her yet. And
Okay.
if I could just ask everybody else that's not participating in speaking, if you could just mute your mics, please.
Liz, are you here as well?
Yes, I'm here. I think
okay.
it's not showing on the screen.
I see you.
because-
I see
yeah.
you now. You're good.
Okay.
Hi.
Great. Okay. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, members of council. It's a pleasure to be able to speak to you today. We're here to provide a brief overview of the changes that were made to the growth management strategy in accordance with the May 13th revised report. These changes were made in follow-up to our previous council meeting in April, specifically regarding a number of the policy recommendations that were set out in Chapter 10 of the report. We don't have an actual presentation today. I'm going to essentially verbally just go over very quickly in about probably 5 minutes the key changes that were made. There were three overall themes of discussion that required changes. First was a look at the broader policy recommendations for the urban employment area in Millbrook. Another one was the consideration of agricultural uses in both urban and employment areas and the recognition of the evolving agricultural economy. And then lastly, had to do with the approach dealing with the PEZ lands around the Peterborough Airport. So with respect to the first recommendation, just for your confirmation or clarification, this was revised in section 10.131 on page 10.8 of the report. What we did here was we softened the overall direction and recommendations with respect to future policy recommendations for urban employment areas. We still included language in this section to recognize the need to establish a vision for the urban employment areas, which encourages uses on full municipal services, which are compatible with the surrounding urban land uses within the Millbrook urban area. But in doing this, we also removed some previous directions in this area of the report, which spoke to establishing separate light industrial designations, as well as references to defined criteria regarding employment supportive uses in employment areas. And this removal was provided to avoid overly prescriptive and potentially restrictive policies in the urban employment area regarding permitted land uses in the urban employment area. So that was item number one. Item number two was the reference to agriculture-related uses in commercial or agriculture uses in employment areas within the urban employment area. This was in section 10.132, page 10.9 of the final report. And in response to council direction, we've emphasized the need to consider opportunities in the evolving agricultural sector related to on-farm diversified uses, vertical agriculture, hydroponics, and cannabis production. We've also placed emphasis on the inclusion of these opportunities within both urban and rural employment areas subject to a review of land use compatibility and best practices. And then lastly, this was the PES refinement, which was provided in section 10.1.4 on page 10.4 of the final report. So in this section, we've reworded the recommendation to encourage the township to explore and seek opportunity to establish a PES designation related to the employment area surrounding the Peterborough Airport. We've also continued to encourage the township to explore the regionally significant employment area designation as per section 1325 of the 2020 PPS regarding the employment areas surrounding the Peterborough Airport as an alternative option. So those are the three key themes that we discussed and the changes that were made, and we're happy to take any further comments or questions you may have on those changes.
Excellent. Very good. Thank you very much, Jamie. Is there any questions from members of council? Apologies. I don't have everybody on the screen right so far. Is there any questions, councillors? I don't. Okay. Deputy Mayor Graham.
Thank you, and through you, Mayor. I just wanted to thank Jamie and his team and Liz, obviously, for taking the time and hearing the discussion and feedback from the last meeting and incorporating it into the language of this. I think the changes were very well done and spoke directly to what we were doing without really, changing the nature of the report and the recommendation. So I just wanted to say thank you, and we appreciate their support and efforts throughout this whole process.
Very good. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Graham. And yeah, to reiterate exactly what the deputy has just indicated, thank you very much to both Elizabeth and Jamie. It's specifically what we're looking for, and I'm hopeful it's going to get us to the next steps of the zoning and the official plans. You've listened, it's reflected in the document, and once again, thank you very much. So with that, we do have the report coming up, so there will be further discussion when Miss Alice brings it forward. But with that, I would look at this point simply to receive that report. I got Deputy Mayor Graham and Councillor Moore. Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Councillor Moore,
Everybody's mutes are on.
Sorry, yes.
Councillor Belch,
Yes.
Councillor Huntley,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Graham,
Yes.
Mayor McFadden.
Yes, motion is approved. Excellent. So once again, Jamie and Elizabeth, wonderful, wonderful. It's been a pleasure working with both of you. I know there's still the report coming forward, but I do want to reiterate my pleasure in this experience. It's been a while, and I'm very pleased with the end result. So thank you both.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor and Council. I just want to say on behalf of Elizabeth and myself, it has been a pleasure to work with Council and you, Mr. Mayor, as well, and staff. We've really enjoyed working on this study, and very proud to have reached this milestone, completing it. So
Excellent. Thank you. I'm pleased. Everybody's got a smile on their face. We must have done a great job. It's certainly been a pleasure. It's good to see.
Great.
Okay, our next item is our minutes. So we'll get approval of the minutes of the regular council meeting held May 4th. Motion for those minutes, Deputy Mayor Graham, Councillor Belch, Madam Clerk.
Councillor Belch,
Yes.
Councillor Moore,
Yes.
Councillor Huntley,
Councillor Huntley with your mute on.
We'll try that again. Yes.
Deputy Mayor Graham,
Yes.
Mayor McFadden.
Yes, motion is approved. I guess the clerk's not taking thumbs up. Okay, moving along, there is no minutes from committees or boards, so we'll move right into our reports, which is item 10.1, Report Planning 2020-08, Growth Management Strategy Revised Final Report. Miss Ellis. Welcome, Miss Ellis.
Thank you, Mayor McFadden. Good afternoon, Mayor McFadden, members of council, staff, and Jamie and Liz. Planning Report 2020-08 is before you today with a series of recommendations. Before I read them, I would just like to bring to council's attention that the date and the recommendations of the report is changed slightly. There was a change to page 10-9 that occurred after the submission of the report. So the new date for the final report is May 13th of 2020.
Good.
In addition, the slight change made to the wording on page 10.9 is not included in the report, but it was a minor revision to help with interpretation. So I don't think it's going to affect, it will only improve the readability of the report moving forward. Having said all that, the recommendations before you today are firstly that council accept the recommendations contained in the Growth Management Strategy 2020 prepared by Watson and Associates economists dated May 13th, 2020. Secondly, that council adopt the Growth Management Strategy 2020 prepared by Watson and Associates economists limited dated May 13th, 2020. Thirdly, that township staff be directed to provide a hard copy or a copy of the strategy to the Peterborough County Planning Department to help inform the ongoing municipal comprehensive review of the Peterborough County and Township of Cabot-Monaghan official plans. Fourthly, that township staff be directed to provide a copy of the strategy to the Peterborough and the Kawarthas Economic Development Corporation for information. Fifthly, that the Growth Management Strategy 2020 be used to inform the development of the Water and Wastewater Master Servicing Plan. And finally, that the Growth Management Strategy 2020 be used to inform the development of a marketing strategy to promote the township's employment plans.
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Ellis. Do we have any further questions from members of council? I do not see any. I know we've been through this before. All right, then can I get a motion then to receive the report and accept the recommendation? Moved by Deputy Mayor Graham, second by Councillor Moore. Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Councillor Huntley,
Yes.
Councillor Belch,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Graham,
Yes.
Councillor Moore,
yes,
Mayor McFadden.
Yes, motion is approved. Once again, on behalf of all of council, Jamie and Liz, thank you very, very much for that very fulsome and detailed report. It will certainly be serve us well in moving forward. So thank you both very, very much. Okay, moving along, our next report is Building 2020-05 Building Permit Activity Report Year to Date. Mr. Phillips. Okay, I do not see Mr. Phillips, but I might have to let him in.
Mr.
No,
Mayor,
he's there.
he is there. He should be able to unmute himself and speak.
You see him?
Yep.
no,
I don't.
I don't either.
me either.
He doesn't have his video on, but he is there.
Okay.
Okay, I see him in the list. He is muted and, okay, so I can unmute him. No, I can't.
You might not want to.
I won't share his video either. Okay. Mr. Phillips. Do we want to move along until I can go to Mr. Hancock's report and come back? Madam Clerk?
Sure, that's fine. We'll see if we can get in contact with Mr. Phillips to come in.
All right, very good. Item 10.3, Report Public Works 2020-12, used backhoe purchase. Mr. Hancock.
Good afternoon, council. Through you, through the mayor to council, recommendation before you is that council approve the purchase of a used 2015 John Deere 310 SL backhoe from Brandt Tractors for $86,000 plus HST in the amount of $11,180 for a total price of $97,180. After the municipal HST rebate, the net price is $87,513.60. Recommendation number 2 is that the $70,000 allocated for the used backhoe in the 2020 capital budget and the use of $17,515 of surplus funds from Darling Crescent cul-de-sac paving project be used for this purchase. And just a couple of comments for council. One, this is a used piece of equipment, so staff went through a variety of suppliers and different machines which are attached as attachment number 1 and I think we tried to pick the best for the best money. So the recommendation is before you for any questions from council.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Hancock. Any questions from members of council? Councillor Huntley.
Through you, Chair, to Mr. Hancock. Thanks for putting this report together. It was nice to see the pictures of what we were actually deciding on for a change. I liked that. I guess my question is, even though it's a used piece of equipment, does it come with any maintenance from Brandt, or is it all, what you see is what you get from here on in?
Well, typically they provide through you, Mr. Mayor, to Councillor Huntley, they provide you with a 30-day maintenance. And that's usually on on motor and what they call drivetrain. Very seldom you'll get much with used equipment. You're not buying new, so they will give us something only because it's a local supplier and et cetera, but it's usually around 30 days.
Okay, so it's more of a defect maintenance than it is a real maintenance.
That's right, yes.
Okay. That's it.
Very good. Any further questions from members of council? Councillor Belch.
Through you, Mayor, to Mr. Hancock. Was it the best with the number of hours used?
Through Mr. Mayor to Councillor Belch, it was the best piece of equipment from what we could see in the marketplace, with the least number of hours on it and in the best body shape that we could tell from photos as we've provided. So we try to look at hours operated. We try to look at the year of the vehicle. You try to look at the purchase price. We think it's the best purchase of what we had there.
Were you able to discern what was actually used for?
Most come from a variety of backgrounds. Typically, some are municipal, but most are usually from private contractors. This one, with the limited mileage on it, suggests to us it was something else because it didn't have a lot of hours on it. So, but we did not verify where it came from. No.
Okay.
Any further questions from members of council? Seeing none, motion then to receive this report and accept the recommendation. Councillor Moore and Councillor Huntley. Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Councillor Huntley,
Yes.
Councillor Belch,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Graham,
Yes.
Councillor Moore,
Yes.
Mayor McFadden.
Yes, motion is approved. Do we want to go back to Mr. Phillips or continue on?
I'm here.
Oh, Kyle's good. All right, excellent. We will go back then
Can you hear me
to our report, Building 2020-05, Building Permit Activity Report Year to Date. Mr. Phillips, welcome.
Sorry, I'm just having some internet connectivity problems here, but as long as you can hear me.
Yes.
The report before you is just for information. Our building permits so far are about what we estimated last year, even with COVID. We were at about, as the report shows, about 74,000. We budgeted about 200,000 this year. We did stop issuing permits about a month ago with the COVID regulations. So the stuff that was in the queue, we are now about to issue. So we do have about 20 to 30,000 more in building permits that we're going to issue by the end of this week. So we're actually closer to about 100,000 in permits so far. So we're on track. It doesn't seem to slow down anything too much with COVID. Any questions? That's sorry.
Very good. Questions from members of council? Councillor Huntley.
Through you, Chair, I guess you answered my question. Thank you, Kyle. It didn't look like we were that far off track. And if you're saying that there's a backlog, then and the backlog catches us up, then I guess we're still in pretty good shape. So that's good.
Yeah, through you, Mayor, we're doing pretty well. We didn't stop any of our inspections. We fully complied with all the regulations that were coming out, but we did continue to review all permits. We just weren't issuing them so that we could keep track of what was allowed to proceed and what wasn't. So yeah, with the additional, it's a bit of a ballpark, but about 30,000 more sitting on our desk right now that we're hoping to issue shortly. So things are looking good.
Fantastic. Any more questions from members of council? Just one comment with regards to the permits. It'd be nice at some point to have, given the amount of development that's taking place in the township, to put it in perspective. I'd love to see something come back just with a summary of the number of total permits taken out, for example, in 2018, 2019, and how that relatively compares to surrounding jurisdictions. It'd be an interesting stat to see.
Sorry, my internet's a little unstable again. You were cutting out there a bit. I think you asked the comparison for surrounding municipalities with 2019 and 2020. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't be 2020 yet. It'd be more 2018, 2019.
Okay, I do have a call into City of Peterborough. I had placed that back before COVID started to try to get their numbers. They're switching to a different system at that time for tracking, so they're having a bit of technical difficulty. I did put in another email to them a couple weeks ago, but I haven't heard yet. So I am trying to get that information, but haven't got it yet.
All right, very good. Without any further questions then, a motion then to receive that report, accept the recommendation. We have Deputy Mayor Graham and Councillor Moore. Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Councillor Moore,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Graham,
Yes.
Councillor Belch,
Yes.
Councillor Huntley,
Yes.
Mayor McFadden.
Yes, motion is approved. Our next item, 10.4, Report Public Works 2020-13, former Millbrook Correctional Facility groundwater investigation. Mr. Hancock.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Recommendation before you is that council receive Public Works Report number 2000-13, former Millbrook Correctional Facility groundwater investigation for information. And just again, a couple of comments. Not only did senior staff do a lot of work, but Mike Bingham, who is a senior project manager with Cambion Incorporated, he did work with us on this report, quite put a lot of work into it, and he is available for technical questions if council has any this afternoon. I think there's a couple of key points here. One, the Ministry of Environment have been testing the municipal wells, and we have found no signs of contamination of any kind at our wells. They are continuing that through 2020, and they have indicated that they want to meet with us later this year, probably in the fall, if everything comes back to normal in some fashion. Would like to meet with us about who's going to be doing the ongoing monitoring on this well, on our wells. The correctional institution IO property, it has a report available that was completed by Cole Engineering that has the test results from last year. It's about a 200-page report, but it is available for anyone who would like it emailed to them. They have maps and everything showing the locations of the wells and the test results. And they did hire a new consultant this year, but they are still following the same typical testing protocol into 2020. They have indicated to us that they would like to at some point sell the property. They are at what's referred to as they've completed stage 1, stage 2. They have not completed stage 3 as noted in our report, and we would be circulated as a municipality once that happens. So at this point, all things being, we've been at this for a number of years, and I'd say for the municipal wells, things look very good.
Excellent. Do we have any questions from members of council? Councillor Huntley is muted. Is still muted. Is unmuted.
I could, the button wouldn't click. Anyway, through you, Chair, to Mr. Hancock, there was mention of the provincial government passing down the expense of kind of the monitoring, or that they wouldn't perform it. I think it was more they wouldn't perform it, and they were going to push that back to the municipality. Is there a way for them to contribute financially to us if we have to continue any of that monitoring, or is it just all on us at that point?
Mr. Mayor, to Councillor Huntley, first of all, it's been our position, senior staff's position, that we should not have to pay for that at all. We believed, and we did have some legal input into that, saying that we should not have to pay for that additional type of testing. To date, and up till 2019, the end of 19, and including 2020, they have agreed. But there is a conversation at the ministry level where they feel that because it's our drinking water system, that we should be testing on an ongoing basis at however often that they think we should be. We believe that IO or some part of the province should reimburse us for those costs. They should be paying us for those costs. And we're waiting for the meeting to happen later this year with ministry representatives. And if they are requesting that we do that, we'd certainly report back to council, and we would look to recover those funds from somebody. Now, that being said, IO is the party that appears to have been the initial cause, so that's probably where we'd go.
So follow-up question then, through you then, Chair. Would it make a difference if you had council support going into that meeting, or do you want council support coming out of that meeting for that we would like the province to keep paying that town?
Well, I think if we've gone to them previously, I think we've met on probably 3 to 4 different occasions. And we've indicated not only the, senior staff position, but also council. So if we believe that we are going to get into that situation where they're not going to continue it, then I think we'd be asking for a letter endorsed by council. But I think we wait, and I think we wait and see where the results go this year.
Okay.
Okay, very good. Any further questions from members of council? Seeing none, motion then to receive that report, accept the recommendation. Councillor Belch and Councillor Huntley, Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Councillor Belch,
Yes.
Councillor Huntley,
Yes.
Councillor Moore,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Graham,
Yes.
Mayor McFadden.
Yes, motion has passed. Next report, Corporate Services 2020-08, Community Festival Designation, Fourth Line Theatre. It's the standard report that comes forward before council each year. A little bit different this year with less performances. Fingers are crossed they'll be able to carry on with their performance in August. But unless there's any questions, motion to receive that report and accept the recommendation. Deputy Mayor Graham, Councillor Huntley, Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Councillor Belch,
Yes.
Councillor Huntley,
Yes.
Councillor Moore,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Graham,
Yes.
Mayor McFadden.
Yes, motion is passed. Next item, 10.6, Report Corporate Services 2020-09, Cabin Policing Services. Ms. Arthurs.
Okay, the recommendation is that council provide direction to staff to respond to the offer to extend the existing contract for policing services provided by the Peterborough Police Service, and that council provide direction to draft a letter to the City of Peterborough in response to the correspondence received requesting that a portion of the Ontario Cannabis Legislation Implementation Fund be provided to the Peterborough Police Service.
Very good. Councillors, Deputy Mayor Graham.
Thanks, and through you, Mayor. With regards to, I'll go through the recommendations one by one. So with regards to the first recommendation in response to the Peterborough Police Service, it's my understanding and from the report that we still have yet to hear back from the OPP with regards to a quote of their own. And there's some information that we're waiting to gather from them that unfortunately wasn't able to be provided by now. Seeing as we still have some time, it would be my suggestion that we just defer any contacting or response to the police service, the Peterborough Police Service, until we have a comparator quote to take it against. I know Durham didn't submit a bid to potentially provide us with this service, but I think with the amount of money involved in this sort of contract, I think it's only fair and right that we, at least get a competitive bid when we know one's coming. And I believe that the timeline to do so that we've gotten from the OPP isn't going to cause us any issues with getting back to the Peterborough Police Service with regards to this current bid. But I'll defer to the clerk, I guess, with regards to that one, and then I'll talk to the second recommendation.
Madam Clerk.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, the information that we've currently received from the OPP is that they're definitely delayed during COVID. The last correspondence we received, they indicated that they would be at least 4 weeks before that they would have any additional information for us. So they have indicated on June the 8th that we may receive something, although that may only be an update. So we could defer until that. We could come back to the council meeting following that date, although I can't be guaranteed that we'll have an actual costing. It might be further updates at that point.
Very good. Deputy Mayor Graham.
Yeah, so so the implications of waiting till that date, I think the question I was looking for clarity on, Madam Clerk, is with regards to that not having any implications on the potential accepting of the township of the police, the Peterborough Police Service offer. Is that correct?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, at this point, they haven't given us a deadline to respond. They have just given us the correspondence that was attached.
Very good.
Very good. Deputy Graham, on the second part.
Yeah, with regards to this recommendation, I think what I would like to direct staff to do at this point is get an understanding of what potentials we as a township have to utilize these funds. I believe it's close to some of approximately $15,000 that we've received to date. Before handing it over to the police, and obviously the police letters of requesting the funds outline the additional costs associated with this new policing issues and training that they've had to incur. And I'm open to that suggestion, but I would like to know locally what potential allocations of this funds that we might be able to use before deciding to just hand it all over.
Very good. Comments from the rest of the members of council with regards to either of those topics? Councillor Moore?
Just that I agree with Councillor Graham. I do think it's something to look into.
Anyone else? Councillor Belcher, Councillor Huntley? Councillor Huntley?
A couple points, like one, through you, Chair, as Deputy Mayor Graham has pointed out, like where can we use those funds? I know it outlined in a few of the recommendations that it could go towards bylaw enforcement as much as it could be the police enforcement. So I don't know where we stand with that. So it'd be good to have some information behind it. The second one, which is a little bit more concerning, is this, capital expenditure of $500,000 cell tower in order for Peterborough to continue, beyond this extension. And do we have any more information on that? And are there channels to fund such a thing? I mean, a $500,000 tower for a small municipality for policing is, quite the expenditure. Like, it's absolutely crazy to expect us to have to fork that over. So how many more of these towers are floating around Peterborough County that, that the individual municipalities have had to pay for in order to get up to this radio system? So I don't know whether the staff is able to comment on that at this point, or whether it's something that they need to take away and come back with later.
Madam Clerk?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. The only thing that I can say is in the report that was provided to the city of Peterborough from Mr. Freeman, it indicated that they would be looking at alternative ways to enhance the communications. So I don't really have an answer for you as far as funding the $500,000. Within the last few days, we did receive a quote on the maintenance, which was an additional $48,000 per year, but none of that is being asked to be put into place if we extend our contract. And I think hopes that there might be an alternative way to enhance that communication without having to go to the cell tower or the additional site.
So to follow up then through you, Mayor, so the cell tower isn't a make or break in terms of a deal with them. It's just a want, more or less.
Madam Clerk?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, in our original discussions with the City of Peterborough Police, they indicated that they wanted the additional site. They were concerned for the officers. Given the situation that we're in now, they have agreed to not pursue that during the extension of the contract if we choose to do that. But ultimately, I still believe we will have to look at some kind of enhancement opportunities, but maybe there is an alternative way out there.
Okay. So to Deputy Mayor's point, Deputy Mayor Graham's point is, if we engage with the OPP, I mean, this $500,000 cell tower, obviously has to be taken into consideration when we do a like for like compare, right?
Madam Clerk?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, we haven't got into specific discussions with the OPP with regards to communication challenges that they may have. Unfortunately, we just haven't got to the point that we've really been able to take a look at their proposal in that contract. I'm not aware of challenges that they had in the past, although that could be an issue as we move forward.
Okay.
Very good.
Well, thank you.
Okay. With that, Deputy Mayor Graham, sound like you had a agreeable motion.
Yeah, so I'm just flipping back to the adjustment here. Just give me 1 minute. So I guess the amended recommendation that I would have, or the motion that I would put forward, would be to defer accepting or responding to the Peterborough Police Services agreement at this time until hearing back from the OPP with regards to their quote on the service, and then direct staff to come back to council with a report on the potential utilization locally of the cannabis funds prior to deciding on or responding to the Peterborough Police Services request for those funds.
Very good. Well-worded motion. We have a seconder from Councillor Huntley. All right, Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Deputy Mayor Graham.
Yes.
Councillor Belch.
Yes.
Councillor Huntley.
Yes.
Councillor Moore.
Yes.
Mayor McFadden.
Yes, motion is passed. Our next item, 10.7, report CAO 2020 report and capital project status. Any questions from members of council?
No.
I don't see any hands. One item that I'd like to add to that list with council's support would be I'd request that staff investigate closing King Street West between Tupper and Hay Street for a trial period of July and August this summer, and to report back to council on the second meeting in June. Councillor Huntley?
Through you, Mayor. I'm assuming this is in relation to kind of the town opening up as COVID starts to dissipate and we are allowed to reopen things up again. Is that correct?
Absolutely, yeah. And without getting, I didn't want to make the motion too long, but with involved in that would be the townships talking obviously to the BIA, to the county, and to reaching out to anyone else that may have specific issues with it. I didn't want to constrain the motion, so I left it generic, but staff's well aware that there will be some background work that's going to need to take place, and it is specific to the COVID. And one of those agencies will be PCAD, because Peterborough Court Economic Development is also looking at opportunities, and they may have some very valuable feedback on it as well. Deputy Mayor Graham?
Yeah, through you, Mayor. I was just going to respond to like in the guise of the comment you just made to Councillor Huntley with keeping it open for discussion. Would there be consideration to remove the timeline of those full 2 months? I mean, because I would hate for the potential discussion or benefits from any discussion thereof to be limited to just that timeline or bust, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't have to be July and August. I just wanted the time frame put in there so that the report comes back in good time so that it could be available in July. It was more or less the urgency of getting this in, whether it ends up being half of July or a weekend. I would expect that'll be part of the report as far as a recommendation as to what part it would form.
So the motion that you made was to respond prior to then, not for both of those months? Because maybe I just misheard it.
It's for the period. I was going to put this summer, but then again, what's this summer? Does it include part of September, or am I talking June? So I just said July and August. I'm not thinking anything in June, and I'm not thinking anything in September. I would say cover the period of July and August to bring back a report to suggest to us what should we be doing. Should we be doing on a weekly basis, on a bi-weekly basis, 2 weeks together, full months, full 2 months? I would expect that would be part of the final report. Councillor Moore?
Through you, Chair, the only thing I'd be also wondering about when they're checking this out is what effect it would have for people like farmers and the truckers making deliveries, like farmers trying to take equipment down the main street or truckers with deliveries, if it's going to affect any of them at the same time.
Absolutely, yeah, that's part of the list of the individuals and areas that'll have to be contacted.
Okay, thank you.
All good, Matthew? I don't care. We can change the motion if you're more comfortable with it.
Yeah, like, I mean, with regards to any consideration for, I don't enjoy, or I couldn't support for the full summer, right? For 2 full months of closure. I feel that that's far too long a duration of time to consider. So if there's any amendment that can be made to the language that, you know, that we're looking to do it for a varied period of time to ideally to occur within the summer months, then that's fine with me. If staff's going to look into what it would, the impacts would be for July and for August, so for that to be closed, I just can't support it.
Okay, so right now it says for a trial period of July and August this summer. So just change it to for a trial period this summer.
How about a trial period to occur in July or August of this summer?
Well, if you do July or August, then we're already predetermining what it's going to be. So I would say about
what that for a period to occur, right?
For a period
to
this
occur,
summer.
yeah, right. Like that's rather than, yeah,
that's fine. Okay, so we're going to modify that, Madam Clerk. So it would read that staff direct staff to investigate closing King Street West between Tupper and Hay Street for a trial period to occur this summer and report back to council in the second meeting of June. That work? Yep. Okay, very good. Mover, Councillor Moore, seconder, Councillor Huntley, Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Councillor Huntley,
Yes.
Councillor Belch,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Graham,
Yes.
Councillor Moore,
Yes.
Mayor McFadden.
Yes, motion is passed. Any other items on the outstanding the report and capital project status? If none, okay, just a motion then to receive that. Moved by Councillor Huntley, Councillor Belch, Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Deputy Mayor Graham,
Yes.
Councillor Moore,
Yes.
Councillor Belch,
Yes.
Councillor Huntley,
Yes.
Mayor McFadden.
Yes, motion is passed. Next item, council committee verbal reports. Councillor Moore, anything to report?
Not yet. The meeting, library boards today,
Very
tonight.
good. Councillor Huntley,
Nope.
Councillor Belch,
Yes, we've got a video conference this Thursday evening at 7 o'clock
it's for Ganaraska.
for Ganaraska. Yes,
Very-
sorry.
Very good. Deputy Mayor Graham?
Yep, just again, raising attention to the two issues we're having on Station Trail that we're trying to rapidly address as the Notified Trails Committee. I know staff is working on some workarounds, but we have had to temporarily close the Station Trail due to the sinkholes that are developing and the washout that is occurring in one area. So we are working on to quickly open those trails. I know that there is a lot of interest and they're very highly used, but we are asking people to, while we address that quickly, to try to avoid those trails as much as possible. We just we don't want anyone to be injured. That would be a tragedy. So but we are having a further meeting to discuss those and other MVT meetings or matters this week.
Very good. Excellent. I did notice that the barricade was ripped down at the beginning of Station Trail by the mailboxes. So it has been reported. I'm sure staff is out there and fixing it, but yeah, it's unfortunate. Okay,
So-
with that, Councillor Huntley.
Through you, Chair, to Deputy Mayor Graham. Is there any reason why these sinkholes are developing? Like, is it, the excess use of the trails now that they're open, or is it just a freaky spring that's causing it?
To Councillor
unknown.
through you, Mayor. In both instances, the issues are culvert related. So in one case, there is some washout that's more of an embankment erosion that's being caused due to one of the, I would estimate, 70 to 80-year-old culverts that had previously been installed. That's actually formed of concrete and different concrete increments, which is not something you see very often. So that's causing some embankment erosion. And then in the other case, I wasn't able to visit it personally, but I've seen photos. There is a break in the culvert in the middle of the trail that's created this sinkhole, because obviously the earth has just been going through just over the course of the years, and it's just gotten much worse this year. I think it was just a matter of time, not necessarily a matter of weather. So it's quite a deep, I would say upwards of 10 to 12 feet deep hole that you could, obviously lose a toddler down, which is obviously would be horrific, but is why the barricades are up and the trail is closed. Like, it's not, we're not trying to dissuade people. We are trying to get it addressed, and we're hopeful that we'll have some sort of workaround solutions in the next week or two. But it's not necessarily anything unique to this spring. It's just been ongoing stuff that's getting to a point where it's becoming more and more dangerous and needs to be addressed. So
Follow-up question. Has the trail committee engaged like Public Works for assistance in how to deal with these culverts, or?
Yeah, we have. I believe Public Works has been at both locations over a week ago now, and have already begun the process of reaching out to different providers of what they believe they could be feasible solutions. I mean, in both cases, these culverts are at the bottom of the trail infrastructure, so there's upwards of 10 to so odd feet of things above it, and also they're on wilderness trails that aren't easily accessible by any machinery of any nature. So while we're looking into and engaging potential vendors in the actual long-term more comprehensive addressing those issues and solutions, I think as a trail committee, what we're going to work on and discuss in the next meeting is sort of more short-term fixes that can be allow people to utilize the wilderness trail safely in the meantime, while those sorts of bigger capital projects are sort of considered and flushed out.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Very good. And if I can just provide any sort of insight, the culverts we are currently getting quotes on the culverts to be replaced on those trails that will resolve the issue. And maybe offline, Deputy Mayor Graham can update Councillor Huntley on the very unique water flowing obstacle that he's found. We may have a tourist attraction, we just can't open it quite yet.
The village optical illusion, yeah.
Excellent. All right. Anything further with regards to council committee verbal reports? If not, I need a motion to receive those verbal reports. Deputy Mayor Graham and Councillor Moore, Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Councillor Huntley,
Yes.
Councillor Belch,
Yes.
Councillor Moore,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Graham,
Yes.
Mayor McFadden.
Yes, motion is approved. There is no general business. Any correspondence for information any member of council wishes to bring forward? Seeing none. Correspondence for action, there is none. There's no bylaws, no unfinished business. Any notices of motion? Seeing none. We've got a confirming bylaw, item 17.1, bylaw number 2020-25, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the meeting held May 19th, 2020, be read a first, second, third time, signed by the mayor and the clerk, and the corporate seal attached thereto. I need a mover. Deputy Mayor Graham, and a seconder, Councillor Belch. Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Councillor Moore,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Graham,
Yes.
Councillor Belch,
Yes.
Councillor Huntley,
Yes.
Mayor McFadden.
Yes, motion is passed. I now have a motion to adjourn, but before I do so, I see the headline just coming across. It's been announced that schools will not be opening before the end of June. So the school year is done. Motion to adjourn.
Yay.
That's a motion from Councillor Belch, a second from Councillor Huntley. Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Deputy Mayor Graham,
Yes.
Councillor Belch,
Yes.
Councillor Huntley,
Yes.
Councillor Moore,
Yes.
Mayor McFadden.
Yes, meeting is adjourned. Motion passed. Thanks, everybody. Stay safe, healthy.
Yep.
Yep. Back to the lawn.
Hi, Ryan.
Safe. I'll repeat, be safe, Councillor Belch.
Yes.
Make sure
No,
the training wheels are on that thing.
No, for sure. And the roll bar.
And the roll bar, that's right.
Hopefully you don't employ the roll bar.
Yeah, really.